Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Travis Reed of Basketball's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Reed. I got a super special guest, a dude that I used to have so much fun playing against in college, way back in the day. My brother, Sam Clancy.
Thanks
Just
for having me, man.
even though he's an SC dude, you know what I'm saying? I had to represent, cool brother. I appreciate him coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I miss our battles from back in the day.
Yeah, I would say this, and this is the truth, man. I would say as far as Pac-12 or Pac-10 back then, he was the toughest big man I went against by far. Everybody talked about Scalabrine. Scalabrine was great, but Sam was big, physical, athletic. I was like, oh man. So we're gonna get right into it, Sam, man. What's your basketball career? How did you start? How did the basketball start for you?
For me, I feel like I got a late start in basketball. I probably didn't start playing organized basketball till I was probably around like 12 years old. And I was terrible in the beginning. I got stories first playing and shooting the ball at the wrong hoop and stuff. And, was just because I was always taller than everybody. Just a big goofy kid and everything out there, just trying to get coordinated. But, I fell in love with the game quickly, and every year I would improve and improve and improve. So, and I would always play up. If I was 12, I would play up in the 13, 14, 15-year-old divisions too. So I would always get better and better faster. So I basically started like that, and I ended up going to at the time we were in a powerhouse school, St. Edward's in a high school in Cleveland, Ohio. But like all my boys from AAU went there, so we finished. I was 15 and under. We finished second in the nation AAU. We lost to Corey McGetty, Quentin Richardson, and them. And then all my boys from my AAU team, we all went to the same high school together. So we went 3 straight state Final Fours, one state championship and everything. And so basically that's just like my, that led me to USC, which was it was kind of a shock for everybody to leave. For me, caused me a lot of problems too back at the time, to leave the East Coast and everything to come out West and everything. But it ended up working great. But that's just like a short rundown of, how I got out West and everything. I would have never imagined that I would be out, be out in Cali and everything, being in Cleveland, being a Cleveland kid. But it just all worked out great for me.
Well, no, man, that's cool. We all know how SC get down, you know what I'm saying, when they be getting these out-of-state all-American dudes. I ain't saying anything, but yeah, we know how SC get a dude from way out Cleveland to come to SC. I wonder how that happened.
Nah, man, what really happened though, honestly, like I was ABCD camp, and in those camps, as a big dude, you don't get the ball much. You just got to hit the glass and get your own shots. You know how it works and stuff. So, I was doing what I do, was on the board, and I look up, and I'm from Cleveland, so I always was like, I got to get out of here. We had blizzards, and it's minus. California kids, you don't know what it's like growing up, in those conditions. On the Great Lakes, we having minus 20-degree winters, and in the summers it's thunderstorms, so it's just bad. So I was like, I really gotta just get out of somewhere, get out of here, and just see something else, honestly. But I seen Coach Bibby, and he was recruiting me at a sign, like, he couldn't really talk to nobody, like, saying like, USC wants you, so I just built a relationship with him, and I just liked the way he was a new coach. So he wasn't a college coach, so he could only sell really himself. He couldn't really sell the program. USC ain't really got no program, but I just liked the way he came to my family, and described his vision for the program, described his vision for me and everything. And it really just worked out.
That's cool. That's cool, man. That's real cool.
There was no money involved. There was no money involved. No money involved.
Yeah, I got you. Well, people who don't know, my boy Sam's dad played professional football in the NFL for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. Yeah, okay, Cleveland Browns. Yeah. And he had a long, distinguished career. What others? I mean, were you interested in football? Or other sports were you interested in growing up besides basketball?
Honestly, Honestly, well, my dad's background was my dad went to Pitt, University of Pitt, and he led the nation in rebounding his 4 years that he was there at Pitt from like I don't know, like 78 to 82, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a basketball player at heart. It just happened that he went to the got cut by the Phoenix Suns in training camp, and and then he had called from the Seattle Seahawks, and they was just like, hey, you want to come and try out? And then that's the rest of history was he had a 2-year career playing in the NFL just off of that, but he never played in college or anything. So he was always so when I was growing up, basketball was his first love. So he always told me like, hey, football is just too physical. We really don't get paid enough. This is the 80s. We get beat up. We don't get paid enough. It's tough. It's not really worth it what I'm going through here. So he really influenced me. Like I'm not gonna say he forced me. I played freshman year football, and just that 1 year playing, I was like, this ain't for me. I can't do it and everything. So I stuck with the hardwood. Well, you gotta have a different mentality, honestly, to be a football player, and I don't have that temperament.
No, I got you. It's the same with me. I played Pop Warner until I got hit real hard, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm finished with this. Let me go stick with basketball.
I'll tell you, like I played against and we my high school, we in Midwest, so we got big powerhouse football schools out there, and the dude, Charles Bentley, he played many years in the in the NFL, and I was defensive end. So I'm coming on a block, and he cleaned, he trapped and hit me, and I didn't see him coming, blindsided me, and I fell, and I thought I swallowed my mouthpiece. I couldn't move my arm. And that was my last game I ever played. I'm like, it was the last game of the season, luckily. But I got hit so hard. I've never been hit so hard in my life. I swear, I thought I swallowed my. I'm like, what happened? What? I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't. I'll be the tough guy on the basketball court. I'll be the one hitting people on the basketball court. It's different, So I took that route.
I got you. So you were talking about you went 3 state Final Fours, won a state championship. Is that your most memorable moment in high school?
Yeah, in high school, that would be our most memorable moment. Would probably be winning the state championship. I mean, I felt like we probably should have won before, but we had switched like 3 coaches. Really, reason why we were so successful because we all grew up together since we was like 12, 13 years old, and we carried it over to high school and stuff. So now, honestly, like if I see anybody from LeBron's camp, they're talking in Cleveland. High school basketball is who is the best team ever, like LeBron's team or our '98 team. You know what I'm saying? That's like the Ohio basketball talk. You know what I'm saying? High school basketball talk. So we had a squad. I mean, we still get our recognition to this day. We still get our props and everything. But yeah, those are definitely great memories. But also because we were such a good friends. We had good, camaraderie. I still talk to my guys to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So the transition from high school to college, obviously you were with your friends and in high school, grew up with them. And then you go to SC, like you said, you're in California away from everybody you know. What was like the hardest thing that the difference between high school out back home and then college, being away from home at SC?
I was kind of used to being away from home because my dad played in the NFL, so we traveled a lot. So he played for the Cleveland Browns, he played for the Colts, so we used to travel a little bit as a kid. So I was used to like traveling like that and everything. But the biggest difference for me was as far as just like the level of competition. When you go from the biggest guy, the strongest guy, the fastest guy, the man in high school to getting up in college, and even on your team, you just ain't nobody really. I mean, we had all the big dudes. We had, my guy at SC, we had like 8 power forward center dudes. You know what I'm saying? They all I end up transferring out and everything, and working out for me. But it was a grind to fight to the top. So it was just tough. Like those practices, because in high school you don't really, you just playing off your talent and stuff. You don't, it's not really there. But when you go to college, you learning, the training, So it was just tough just to keep up with the schedule every day, honestly. From getting up in the 7 in the morning and wait to the study hall finishing at 10 o'clock at night. So that schedule was just tough on me. But as far as honestly, once I got to California, I felt like everybody was just soft out here, because it was just like like honestly, like just the lifestyle, it just softened you up. So you'd be like, I couldn't believe that it was sunny in like November and October. Like it just was mind blowing to me. So I'm like, everybody just soft out here. Like it was kind of easy because I just felt like I came from a different mentality, and it was just more grimier. So like, it was just I felt that I took that attitude. I felt like it was a little easier, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Okay. I can respect that. Yeah,
But the dudes from the East Coast coming West Coast, we had that attitude. You know that. You already know that. You already know.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you come out of West, you see dudes, it's different, It's already East Coast bias anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you carry that to the West Coast with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens,
No, I understand that. So, what I remember about our college battles, I was like, man, okay, when we played y'all at UCLA, and I played you at Long Beach State as well. That I was like, okay, one thing I can't let Sam do. Sam ain't gonna dunk on me. I'll foul him. I remember with our scouting report, our coach was like, get physical with everybody except for Sam. Sam likes the physical. So kind of the side front, kind of outthink Sam. Don't go physical with Sam.
Yeah, you can't fight. You can't fight.
College battles when I was at UCLA and in Long Beach State.
I got you. Honestly, the biggest thing, like, because like when you're in college, you plan the game, but you're trying to figure yourself out at the same moment. You're trying to figure out like where you can be successful at. So that's the biggest thing about when you're in college. You might see guys get 20 points one day, then don't get it again. Because you trying to be consistent. That's the hardest thing as a college player, right? Mm-hmm. So when I get older, I'll forget. I remember playing against you, but I remember distinctly like playing against you when you was in Long Beach State, that I hit a move and it kind of opened my eyes up. And it was like, because as soon as I would catch the ball on the block, they would just come and double team me immediately. So I had no other option. I couldn't do anything but pass it or shoot the turnaround jumper, So like I just shot it one time. I remember you was guarding me and I just quickly got it and I just shot the turnaround like baseline jumper, and I went and it went in and I was just like, that was I ain't gotta fight with nobody no more. If I can make that consistently, I ain't gotta wrestle with nobody. If I can just get the ball with my spot and I can just turn and shoot it before the double team come, I'm good. So that kind of that opens up. And after that, every time you kick, I'm like, I'm turning around shooting it before the defense comes. Because that was my only shot. Like at that time, that when you get to that level, they're coming for the double team. They come.
Yeah.
So that like I had to figure out, and it just happened to be against y'all, and playing against you and everything, that it kind of clicked, because it's probably you're a big dude. You don't want to shoot too many jumpers at a time. Like you said, I want to dunk in there. So I was like, I don't want to get comfortable shooting too many of these shots. You know what I'm saying? But once I figured that out and like kind of found my spot on the floor and found out, where I could be successful, it opened up the world to me because they had to guard that now, and then they had to guard a lot of more stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that really, I think about that all the time. Like, like that particular moment, that particular game, it just happened to be against y'all. Like I kind of figured out like my move to where I can get my shot off whenever I wanted it.
No, I got you. Yeah. I got you. Like I said, I remember that y'all was the two-headed monster, you and Scalabrini. And like I said, but y'all had Jeff and you and Brandon Granville and Blumenthal. Like I remember that was the year y'all went to the Elite Eight. 20 year, like we were talking about before, the 20-year anniversary up until this year. Would you say that was your greatest triumph at SC, getting to that Elite Eight for the first time, and who knows how long with SC basketball?
Definitely. And that's probably my biggest, honestly, that's my biggest takeaway probably in my whole basketball career was that Elite Eight moment. Just like the magnitude of it. You know, it's nationwide, it's national tournament and everything, and we
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella. But before that, we went through a lot of growing pains. Everybody knows, we went through, having nobody over there at the sports arena, like playing in that dungeon and stuff. So, but me, Scalabrini, Trepanier, Granville, and Blue, we all came in the same year. So we came in the same year. We was all together, same year. I mean, Jeff was a year older than us, Scalabrini. He came in the same year, but he was JUCO. So we kind of grew together. You know what I'm saying? Even Coach Bibby. So we all grew together. It was only, so it just happened that like we grew together. It was good, but we was a good team, but we just didn't put it together. But going in that tournament, we could see that everything went right, and we just start clicking. Like, but then also, like I was saying earlier, the East Coast bias. The East Coast teams didn't respect us, so they was like, "Oh, we gonna run over them. They soft." They was looking at us like that. Oh, we about to beat on them. They soft. They from Cali, from LA. It's cookies with them. So we was like, nah, it ain't gonna be that type of way. We had like a dog team. We was athletic, and we only went 5-6 deep. Now.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
we only went 5-6 deep, and the coaches let us go. And that's one thing I loved about Coach Bibby is it wasn't like he wasn't no college coach, wasn't no system. So we had a lot of input on the team. We could say like if we didn't want to run we didn't want to run a certain defense, we'd be like, we don't want to do that. We want to do like this. And he'd be like, well, just get it done then. But just get it done. Do it. So we had a lot of that. Like once we built up to this, to his trust, let's say like that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those are just great years and just running, like having that magical run. I mean, it was just amazing, honestly.
That's good. What would you say was your greatest like failure in college? If you feel like you had a big failure in college.
Well, that's easy. That would be the next year when we lost in the first round of UNC Wilmington. So we made the big run my junior year. We just lost Scalabrini and Trepanier. But my junior year, I came back my senior year. So we finished second in the Pac-10 my senior year. We should have won the Pac-10. We lost in a buzzer beater to Oregon. That still hurts too to this day. Because you always remember the ones you lose. The ones you win, that's okay, but the ones you lose, you never forget them.
Always. So, always. That's always that.
That's how it is. So, going to the tournament, we had all the hype from the year before. Mm-hmm. I'm getting all of the national recognition. I'm getting all of the publicity that I could ask for. So we getting all of the hype. They picking us to go to the Final Four. And we come out and lay an egg and got beat on in the first round. And I just felt like it was a complete letdown. Just from on my behalf, I can only take responsibility for myself. On my behalf and just the team. So I just felt that still hurts too. But that was my biggest I feel like let down because it was right there for us. I feel like and even if we get past that first round, but I also feel like we took them lightly and stuff. So it was all on us. But that was my biggest disappointment in my college career.
Trust me, my sophomore year at UCLA, we felt the same way. We asked one year we had 8 guys who played professional. 5 NBA guys. We had Barron, Earl, Jerome, Dan, Matt, all played 10 years plus in the NBA. Had myself that played overseas, Billy Knight, rest in peace, played overseas. Ray Young that played ball. We had super talented team, and we ended up losing. We was a 5 seed, 5-12, lost to Detroit Mercy. I remember that. Yeah, and I was like, I remember everybody was like picking us to go to at least Sweet 16, and we ended up losing to Detroit Mercy in the first round. I remember I was like, dang, it's one of those nightmares, dream nightmares or whatever. I remember that like it was yesterday.
The tournament, go back to my junior year, the year we made that run, we playing against Kentucky in the Sweet 16 and UCLA. My thing is you just left, right? UCLA was playing against Duke in the other side. And I'm telling you, I was never the biggest. I was the biggest UCLA fan forever in that game because I knew if they win, we play them, and I just knew they didn't want to see me. I just knew. I'm like, we about to go to Final Four. We play them. I already know we're going to Final Four. We play them. So So I mean, we was the biggest Duke fans. I mean, UCLA fans in the world for that moment. But you know, it just ran into Duke. And, you know, playing against Duke, that's another monster. Like,
They won a championship
yeah.
that year, so I get it. I get it.
For me, it's just like the referees and stuff. Like they kind of they influence so much of the game with them. So I mean, this is tough to even beat them. So you know, but I mean, props off to them. They deserve it. I ain't gonna say they didn't, but you know, they tough. So you got to play a perfect game. Let's put it like that.
I got you. I got you. All right, so you finish your senior year. You know you lose obviously in the shocker. So what's next? What happens next?
So I entered the draft. Wait, what happened next? So yeah, I'm on my draft stuff. So I'm like I was I guess it's a projected. I don't know who does these projections or whatever, but projected you know, like lottery pick I guess coming up at the time, you know. So I'm doing all the I guess the pre-workout and I had like a catastrophic injury my first workout with Phoenix Suns. So I was actually working out with it was me, Matt Barnes, and Tayshaun Prince and Reggie Evans. And they're all 10-year pros, you know, and me. And we in there for our first workout with Phoenix Suns. And I just went up, me and Reggie Evans playing one-on-one. He's shooting hook shots. I'm just jumping up, blocking him. Boom, boom. And I just came down and landed wrong on my knee and dislocated it and everything. So you know, that was just really like disheartening. It was tough, you know, because you know here you are, you're supposed to go here. So, you know, but I didn't let that discourage me. You know, I ended up getting drafted second round, 45 pick by the Sixers. I didn't even know anything after that. I couldn't even you know do anything, work out, nothing. So Sixers took a chance on me with Coach Larry Brown and you know, Billy King is a GM and everything. I went with AI and Derek Coleman and everything. The year after they went to the finals and lost to the Lakers. So, you know, that was just my experience there. So, but I'm hurt, so I got to rehab everything, rehab from the ground up. I can't play, can't practice. So that was just, I didn't play, you know. So I really just had to, really just sat, watch, and just got healthy and everything. So, you know, it was just tough because there was moments, I remember moments like really never thinking like I'm ever going to play again. I'm ever going to be able to do the stuff I used to ever do again. I remember, you know what I'm saying? Because you have these doubt creeps in your mind and stuff you don't know. So, but I basically just had to power through that and everything. And, you know, I did you know, I finished with the Sixers and then the next year I like did, like some training camps or something, but, at the end of the day, what comes down to it is like you have your dream of the NBA. But for me, it was never like I was in college like NBA or bust. It was just like if I dominate, I'll go to the league. If I don't, then I'm not. So it wasn't like I was going there only to go to the league, you know. So it was like, well, if they want me, they're gonna call me and stuff, and that's ended up what happened. So so I was just like, you know, I just want to hoop anywhere. Like if the league ain't working, but it came down to the point where once I got healthy, I ended up going my second year. I think I'm going to the CBA to get healthy. Like I did like training camp, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the CBA, get healthy, and play down there. And I ended up being like the MVP of the CBA and stuff. So that kind of got me back on the map, you know, with NBA teams looking and then overseas teams looking. But what happens is comes down to is like overseas teams start calling and they'll start calling you with like maybe $500,000 big guaranteed contracts, or you could just, or the other option is like I could go to training camp with the Portland Trailblazers for free and a tryout and turn down this $500,000. So these are the dilemmas that, you know, the young players early in the career I was going through and stuff. And at the beginning, I was choosing the training camp, you know, because I was still like, I got to give it a shot. I felt like if I didn't give it this shot, that I couldn't live with that in myself. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I gave it the shot. It didn't work out. And then I was like, okay, then I'm overseas. And then I just rotated my career. Well, I was overseas, so I've been over there for, you know, it seemed like forever.
Okay.
You know?
So how many years did you try out in the NBA? How many years was that?
Man, because I was hurt for like I didn't get healthy for probably like 2 years after my injury initially, honestly. So I was with the Sixers for 1 year. The next year, I don't even know. Oh my goodness, it's all a blur. I'm so old now. But I tried out. I think I probably tried out like 2 years. I did like two summer leagues. You know, the summer league with the Nets twice, 2 training camp. You know, or 3 training camps with the Sixers twice and Portland Trailblazers. And then after Portland, once I got healthy, Portland didn't work out, and I was like, you know, I went over to Russia. You know, and you know, and at the time you don't realize like that's their NBA. You know, like you're a step away if you do well. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff you don't realize at that time, but you know, I end up being in great situations, even in Europe and stuff. You know, but I had that Euro NBA pedigree, so I was able to go to the top teams. Like I didn't have to start at the bottom teams in Europe and work my way up. You know, so I kind of had an advantage that way. I would say in my European career.
Yeah, I remember, bro. Like, cause when I was in Holland and in Estonia, you know, I remember you was in Spain, I believe. Was it Spain? Because you was in Spain for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Like I said,
It's like Spain.
yeah. So I said, I remember I used to watch your games. You know, I remember you was like up there and scoring in Spain, and we used to, you know, like we had like the little EuroLeague pass or whatever. So we used to watch, you know, like all that stuff. Me and my teammate at the time. So we used to. I was like, yeah, it's my boy. He's playing against college Sam Clancy, man. He over there in Spain. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like he doing his thing. I'm happy for him. Like I was watching you. I saw Jeff. You know, I saw all the dudes, everybody overseas. You know, doing their thing. Who was overseas at the time. So you don't get the chance to see like or play with your friends. You just gotta kind of just make friends with the Americans that you on the team with. So, how many years did you play overseas?
Oh man, that's a good question too. I think I first went overseas in like 2000. My first time was 2014 or 2004. Sorry, in Venezuela, but that was after the CBA. I did like only a few months there. But I would say from there, and I just retired. I would say I'm officially retired. My last professional game was probably like last March, not a year ago.
Yeah,
In March and everything.
Previous
so,
coach.
Like 15 years, I think, something like that overseas, something like that. So
funny
it's been a
story about
grind.
he was like, Sam is still playing. I'm like, he's still playing? I said,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, because what you realize about the overseas game is you can play forever, really, as long as you keep yourself in shape. Because they take out the athleticism of the game, and it's all about the fundamentals of the game. So if you can play smart basketball, fundamentally sound, be in the right position, you can have a long and lasting career overseas. You don't got to jump through the roof. Like you can, like I started like that, but then I finished just being like a sound defensive basketball player. You know what I'm saying? So, but that I had to do all that stuff to extend my career and everything. But that's the overseas game is different because it don't rely on scoring, so it's more a team game. So then they don't sign the players over there to get 25 points. Like you can come over there and kill with 10, 12 points and get $1 million overseas. People don't really know that. You know what I'm saying? So so the game is different. But once you figure it out, I mean, it's a great lifestyle.
No, it is. Obviously, out of your 15 years, what was the funnest country that you were at? And what funnest place?
The funnest place, man. I had fun everywhere. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say everywhere, but I don't want to blast the countries I didn't like too much. In case some people's listening.
That was my next
question.
What's the worst place you were?
I'm gonna get to that though. I'm gonna get to that. We'll get to that. I'll blast everybody. I'll blast everybody.
Okay.
Forget it. My funnest place, I was just in Argentina for the last I don't know, like 8-10 years. I don't even know, because it's all been a blur really. And I count my basketball seasons like years, so it kind of confuses me. Like my years is not like regular people's years. My years is season basketball. You know what I'm saying? Seasons. That's how. So it's different. I don't really know. So like I love Argentina. I just love the culture, the people. And honestly, like this, the way they took to me, I was hesitant even going on there because I had to shift my career from Europe to South America, and that was a big like change. I didn't know like economically and stability wise. I think about all this economic stuff. You got to think about world economics when you do this game now. So, but I got down there and they let me play my game. They let me bang again. It was like physical. They weren't calling all those travels on me that they call in Europe and stuff. So I was like, whoa. And they let me like, Sam, you go to work. So it was more like an Americanized, like a, like a dumbed down Americanized game, I guess. Um, so I loved it. The people loved it. I ended up playing I was over there I played on one team over there for 3 years and another team for 4 years. That was like unheard of. I was switching teams up until then every year. And now my team down there, they got a mural of me. I got a mural painted on the wall of me. I got a nickname.
Okay, Stephon Marbury.
I'm like a legend. I'm like a legend. So that is definitely my place. That's Argentinians, any Argentinian people listening. I love you all. But that's my place because they really and they kind of gave me back the passion for the game. Because when you playing so much, going all these different places, you be like, I'm tired of playing. It's a business, but when you go somewhere you like it, they give you back the love for the game. So I thank you for that.
No, I got you. Obviously, going through overseas basketball, we all have those low moments and times when we're over there kind of maybe lonely by ourselves or whatever the case is. When you were at those places, what got you out? Because everybody knows, like overseas, like you have to be a real man. Like in the States, you can kick it with your boys, you kick it with your family. Overseas, you are by yourself unless you bring over your wife and your kid and all that. For myself, I had girlfriends, but they was in the States, So I was literally out in Estonia, Holland, Germany, all by myself. So some days I didn't know how I was getting through. Some days I was literally like calling home, talking for hours, read the Bible, all that stuff just to get me through. So for yourself, what was that for you?
Man, that's a good question. Because that is probably the toughest part about people don't really underestimate about playing overseas. They always think about the basketball part, but the hardest part is the living situation. And you are, like you said, you are alone. You are in your own world. And maybe there's one other American on your team, who got me through when I was in Russia, and I went to Russia and I was 25 years old. Never been really out of the country for a long time. But I had Travis Best, point guard, the vet point guard. He was my vet, man. And it was his first year out because he was just finishing his NBA career. So he was my vet. So I think that it was really just having like another American teammate where y'all both could be just like, alone together, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all both in your own world. You need each other. Like you were like, y'all both like this because it's just y'all two in these crazy countries and stuff. So Trav really, I mean, that's my man. He really helped me out. Really got me. You need a vet to also tell you how the game's gonna be in the future, stuff to look out for in the future. But honestly, it's a real lonely lifestyle. So you really learn a lot about yourself. You really you might find another hobbies you don't even know getting into. Like you said, I dug into a lot about, I like to learn about history or whatever my interest is, but you got a lot of free time on your hands to handle it. And that's what I also see a lot of guys can't do, and they don't succeed because they don't know what to do constructive with their time. I think that's one of the biggest things we got to figure out.
That's true. So you hung it up just this last March. And so you knew in your head, I know that the COVID thing kind of messed a lot of things up for everybody. But in your head, you kind of knew that it was time to kind of move on. Now with your journey that just happened, what was the biggest takeaway from your whole basketball career that you can give to the future people that's coming up in your shoes?
If I could sum it up, I would just say my whole takeaway has just been like how close, like I look at like my journey and I look about where I started at and where I finished at. But it was a personal journey for me, basketball wise, So I look at like how much more open minded I am now, how much more I am, how differently I think. I think a lot of times we're just so Americanized, we get caught up in our American situations. For example, I would first get over to Russia and I would have, maybe arguments with these people like, oh, America's the best country, I'm better than you, because of the stuff they had fed me when I was, growing up. So I kind of had to break out of this stuff because I was like, man, I'm sounding like a privileged American over here in these countries and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't no different than these people back at home saying this stuff, X, Y, Z. You know, so I had to start trying to check myself and look within myself and be like, you know what? I gotta see, and I started seeing that they things that they was doing better that I could try to bring into my own life. You know, for example, in Argentina, people are very family oriented, and I'm like, man, these people is poor, but they so happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see people at home with everything, and they miserable. What can I take home from these people and bring home to myself? You know, and it was really all just about like, you know, just about like really family and just being just being a caring person and just being like just being like more open to different ideals and just just really getting out of your comfort zone because all overseas does is it takes you from one place to another place and you got to survive there, and then once you do that you realize like, hey, I survived in Russia, in the Siberia, put me anywhere, I'm gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready, bring it on. So but a lot of dudes get over there, and because they don't have a McDonald's, because they don't have a Wendy's, they like, what I'm gonna eat today, and you can't survive is instead of just buckling it up, sticking through it, you're gonna have the up and downs, but I'm talking about like there's gonna be days you want to come home. That might be every day. But if you just grind it out, I mean, the people are good people. They're all gonna treat you good. You have a good career, make a lot of money, and just have a great time, and all while doing so, like, learning about yourself, seeing other cultures. And I would advise anybody to travel, just get outside of your comfort zone, just experience the world, and it's going to open up your mind so much. So that's all I would say. Like, my journey has just been like a a brain of opening just different experiences and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I take away, all the experiences I had, and I wouldn't give it back for anything.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. The 10 years I played, it taught me basically how to be a man, how to handle everything by myself, how to be by myself, how to handle business, how to deal with people, it's everything. Like, it's hard to even explain how much being overseas taught me how to be a man. So, well, thank you, Mr. Clancy. Man, I appreciate you coming on the show. You are welcome back anytime. Like I said, being said, we could talk like this for hours, people. I'm telling you, he
Hours.
has stories, man. Um, his career was illustrious, and like I said, I hope you learned something from his journey. From his journey and my journey. Like, be open minded, be open. To try new things. You might not even understand why you're doing it, but if you're doing it, you will enjoy it. All right. Till next time, I will see you on Travis Reed, The Athlete's Journey. Saying goodbye with my boy Sam. We'll see you next week. Peace.